And we are live, guys. Yes, I told a white lie yesterday, and I'm not proud of it, but let me explain you the story. So, yesterday was Halloween, and my kids have been looking forward to it for a very long time. And someone in the expat community inside of Tbilisi, Georgia, they decided to create a Facebook event or promote an event on Facebook, and it was a Halloween party for kids. And my kids are a little bit older, but they're really, really excited about going. So we went, and part of the process was to go around trick or treating. And the people that had organized the event, they had set it up so that we would go to different shops and pick up candy for the kids. And so, trick or treat, and it was enjoyable. It was a nice environment, and one of those shops was a pizza restaurant. And so the cool part about it is that they had arranged so that we would get 20% off if we ate pizza there. And I was talking to my wife trying to, figure out where were we gonna eat because we were all hungry and candy was like, the immediate situation available. And uh, so where as we then were deciding, well, I mean, they've given us 20% at this pizza restaurant that we, got candy from as part of the trick or treat route. And so maybe we should go there after we're done at this event. And so that's exactly what we did. And so we show up. This is all very important and critical to the story. Uh, and it's nice to see you guys joining the live stream. So we show up there, and it's kind of small, and they had outside dining, but it was cold, and inside dining was like one table next to where you would order, and so it was kind of like uncomfortable. And we're like, man, is this the best place? And uh, they were showing us that, oh, we have a place outside. So they had like a small room that we could be seated at, and I was like, I don't know what they're talking about. It was a separate building. Okay. And so they showed us, and I was like, "Oh, this is actually quite nice." And so it was like a small room with chairs and the ability to sit down and eat pizza together as a family, and we'd be separated from everyone else. It was kind of like a VIP type of situation, although not as fancy. And so we sat down and we started looking over the menu when they came with it. It's kind of cold in the room, and um, they put on the heater, but it took time for it to heat up. So we're just sitting there, for uh, until we got the menus. We checked out the menus, and then we're like, "Ooh, this is kind of pricey, and the pizzas look kind of small." So it's almost as if they had like it was a little bit of a fancy restaurant, but not really fancy, right? But fancy enough that they needed fancy prices, I guess. And compared to the place where we love to eat pizza, there's a place here called Ronnie's Pizza here in Tbilisi, and we're just like, we love that place, but that wasn't there and available right after the situation. So we're like, we're willing to try new pizza. And so I look at this menu and I'm like, ooh, should we just go straight to Ronnie's Pizza from here? And my wife was like, but they've gone through all this trouble to set everything up for us, and it was kind of like a VIP experience, and so like that's we should take it, like we should sit here and and try something new. And I'm always in favor of trying new things. So I'm looking at these pizzas. We get a 20% discount. Okay, so it's okay, it's good. And so we order one of the pizzas, and it pretty much looks like the average of the pizzas there, and it doesn't look that appetizing. But you never know if it's a fancy restaurant. Maybe it's absolutely amazing. And so we ordered, and we waited for 20 minutes and had fun together as a family, and then the pizza arrives, and we're all hungry at this point. And so we eat the pizza, and um, the situation was lackluster, to use that word. So it was a very thin pizza, but the crust was huge, and the crust was better than the actual pizza. Like, how usually, like, you kind of leave the crust and the pizza is kind of the thing that you're enjoying the most. Well, this one was kind of only tomato sauce with like a little bit of meat on top and no cheese at all, none whatsoever. And I don't know if this is like a fancy way of eating pizza or like kind of an Italian way. I don't know. But it was not working. Okay, the sauce was kind of coming off. It was impossible to hold the pizza because it was flappy and just not an enjoyable pizza at all. And fortunately, I kind of had my ideas that it would be like this from the pictures and from the size of the pizzas. So I was like, we just ordered one, right? So it was enough for like basically one piece for everyone. Because I just wanted to make sure because if it was good, we'd, order a lot. Why not? We'd stay there because they had given us such an enjoyable experience so far. So where's the white lie? Well, we decided to leave. And obviously, as I paid for the food, they gave us the 20% discount. Great. And then she asked me a very critical question as she, wanted to give me the receipt. She asked me, how was the pizza? And I said, it was, it was good. And then I left. Now, I do not lie. I'm very like truth is one of my core values and core passions in life. And I did not enjoy the process of having to say a white lie. And in order for I guess her feelings to not be hurt, I she's just an employee most probably, right? And the person that had invited us in and given us all these, the VIP experience was not there or available. But what should I have done? Like, what do you do in that type of situation? Do you just tell it to the employee's face? Oh, actually, we didn't really enjoy the pizza that much. Maybe that is the right thing to do, but this was not what I did. What is the lesson here? If you ever want to become a business owner, or if you ever want to date someone, or if you ever want to get a job, or if you simply want to live a life worth lived, you need to be able to get and receive feedback because other people are experiencing you differently than you are experiencing yourself. And the way that you are behaving is causing things to happen around you. Like every single word that we say, every single behavior that we do, every single thought that we have translates into a behavior or words, right? Every thought, no one can hear or see our thoughts, right? Maybe. I guess there are some mind readers out there, but probably not. It's the vast majority of the time they don't. They can't read your thoughts. So it's really your actions and your words. Those are the things that determine whether uh or that determine other people's words and actions over time, most probably in your immediate circle especially. Because if the more you spend time with someone, the more you are uh imbuing, if that's a word, the more you are giving over your thoughts, your habits, and your words, and your behaviors to those people that you spend a lot of time with. That could be a positive thing, that could be a negative thing. If you are an amazing person and you are truly fulfilling your true potential, then it's an amazing thing that you are in other people's lives. And they should be grateful that you are, in their life and that they're changing as a result of, your behavior uh and your words and your mindset. But if you are a person that's not fulfilling their true potential, then that's a problem for every single person that spends time with you. And we all need to grow. We're all a work in progress and we're all trying hopefully to become better. Some people don't though. But this is my thought process of what I learned from that personal experience the way it ended up, what ended up happening is that we went to Ronnie's Pizza and we had our enjoyable pizzas there. And we tried a new pizza that wasn't as good as the other pizzas that we usually have, but it was an enjoyable pizza experience. And we had fun, and we're going to go back to Ronnie's Pizza. And we're never going back to La Gamba in Tbilisi, Georgia. And I have to say their name because they are a public organization. And I'm speaking, it might be offensive for the owner, but I don't know the owner. And if the owner speaks to me, I will share with him what can be improved about his business or about his product that will take his profits to the nth degree. Because right now, they don't know. I haven't told them what should, maybe I should write them and tell them my personal experience or even review and rate it. I'm actually very curious right now what the rating is of that restaurant and reading the reviews. And why should I even spend time on this? Like, do you get what I'm saying? Like, is it worthwhile me spending time on even having these thoughts? This is what happens when you're trying to understand what to do and what to improve or what I could have done better about your past, right? But bringing it back to the lesson learned, you must be willing to ask for feedback always from people, and you must receive that feedback with people skills. And what do I mean by that? There's a quote that I saw on Instagram. I think it was a couple of days ago, or maybe it was even yesterday, and it was the more offensive you take things, or the more personal offense something in that regard, the less intelligent you are. Right? So the more you take personal offense, the less intelligent you are. I think that's what paraphrasing the quote. But that is a really powerful quote when you think about it. Because that is the opposite of being capable of receiving feedback. And if you're never receiving feedback, then you will never improve because you don't know what you bring to the world in form of, the reception of your words and your behaviors unless you receive feedback. They're not going to tell you. And the reason why they're not going to tell you is because they've been raised somewhat properly, the average person, right? If they've been raised extremely well, they're not going to give you feedback like that. We literally were reading in How to Win Friends and Influence People with my kids the other day about how you should not disagree with someone even if they're wrong. And he was telling a story in the book about how uh, someone that he had sat next to at a dinner party was saying that a Shakespeare quote that he quoted came from the Bible. And the author, Dale Carnegie, was like, that does not come from the Bible. Like, he knew for a fact it didn't come from the Bible, and he told the person sitting next to him that it didn't come from the Bible. And he was trying to invite the person sitting across from them to assist Dale in convincing the other person that that he was wrong and that quote did not come from the Bible. And what's interesting is that person actually was a Shakespeare expert. And he was like, he kicked Dale under the table and said, "Of course that comes from the Bible. What are you talking about, Dale?" And then the discussion was over. And so Dale went up to him afterwards and said, "What? Like, why didn't you tell? You know that quote did not come from the Bible." And the guy was like, "Yeah, it's from this play in this chapter." And, so yes, he knew. But he said you should never, ever disagree with people. Never, ever disagree. And so this impacted Dale Carnegie to the point where he made an entire chapter about this and how to win friends and influence people. So how do we do this? Do you see how tricky it is for someone to actually give you feedback? They literally have to have the opposite of people skills and completely go against all of their principles that they have learned from reading books. Okay. Like I would have to go against all of my, principles. Like in fact, you're kind of, like that is literally a white lie. What they did in that chapter, and that was a white lie. And so it's like How do you do things? So I'm giving you this information from the perspective of the recipient of feedback because it is your responsibility and duty to seek to get honest feedback from the people that you serve. In other words, everyone that's around you. Everyone. They all deserve to have a say if it gives you the potential to level up and become better so that you can serve everyone else better. And that is how growth compounds over time. What is the result of never learning to accept feedback? It's mediocrity forever, long term, and going through pain long term. And the quote from Tony Robbins is change happens when the pain of remaining the same is greater than the pain of change. Receiving hurtful feedback is necessary in order for you to grow. Extremely painful. But once you receive it, you might be able to make a change, which is also painful, which means now that you're better able to serve people and you no longer are mediocre. Suddenly you become good, better than average. And then you become great. And then you become the best ever. And then you become. Do you see the point here? But it's not enough to simply state, oh, could you tell me about X, Y, and Z? What do you think about when I said this? Or what do you think about when I do this? Most people are going to give you white lies because they have to because they like you. They like all the other parts of you, but maybe they don't like that specific part. But they're probably going to give you white lies. And that's what I did yesterday, despite her asking. So it's not enough to just ask someone, what did you think? Give me actual feedback. You have to develop a capacity to receive negative feedback. And that tears on your soul when it's something that's important to you. And it might even cause you to quit because you care about other people's opinion. Like, the thing is that if you go through the reviews of La Gamba in Tbilisi, Georgia, you most probably will find that they have a 4+ rating out of 5 stars. So there are other people who like that restaurant, who like their pizzas, and probably can't get enough of it and would probably pay double the price of what the actual price was. And I might just be an anomaly. Maybe I just don't know the correct and true nature of how pizza is supposed to be experienced. Italian, specially fancy made pizza. Maybe I don't, right? And so if that's the case, then I'm the one that needs to get educated, right? And I need to receive feedback. But what if that business goes under because people in Georgia simply didn't like their pizzas? Was that what the owner wanted? No. Are we ever going to go back? No. Like, my son even came with the joke, and he was like, he said, anytime in the future when we eat something that's not enjoyable, we'll just state, oh man, that was La Gamba. And I was like, yo, it's kind of mean, and we shouldn't do that, right? But it's a joke that's kind of real, and it's a language thing, It's no offense to them, but that was our experience. So the key point here is that it's not enough to ask for feedback because she asked me for feedback. You literally have to dig. Now, if you're a business, strangers are going to be adamant that the pizza was good, right? If you keep digging, unless you do it in a people skills way. Hey, we'd love to get your feedback. If you didn't like it, it would. But how do they teach employees to do that? It wouldn't work, and it would create confrontation unnecessarily. So the best way to do it would probably be to have, like to incentivize it in some way, shape, or form, especially if you're struggling with sales and no one's coming to the restaurant. Then you might want to, instead of giving discounts, well, I mean, discounts are great in order to attract people, but after the discounts have been done, maybe a good way would be to incentivize or pay the person who had an experience with you to either give a review on Google, an honest review, right? Or to let you know with pen, piece of paper what the actual experience was, so that it could go to the owner, or maybe it's in a box, right, where the person can give feedback without the employee reading it automatically. Right? There's ways for you to dig with strangers in terms of getting feedback. It's one of the things that I wish I had done throughout my entire journey as a business owner. I would have grown a lot faster, right? And I'm very grateful for, my assistant Daniel in the past, who worked with me, who did that feedback. Actually, it's pretty cool how he did that, but he automatically went to my clients and went on calls with them for like 30 minutes to an hour to just hear feedback on the experience of working with OnTrack. And those calls, I've listened to them once, but I should be listening to them twice, three times, four times, in order for me to get feedback, in order for me to improve my products and services, right? But as I was saying before, there will be times when people have an opinion that is contradictory to what the vast majority of people want. And if that's the case, you need to go for the mainstream. You need to go according to what the mainstream is saying, because they're the ones that are actually paying the bills very often. Unless you are serving a very small niche market and that's the target avatar that you actually have. That's the person that I want as my customer. Then you need to massively listen to him, right? But if you want to serve the mainstream, then you gotta give what the mainstream wants and supply them with what they're demanding, because they'll pay for it, right? And so it's really up to you, is what type of target avatar are you searching for, and get feedback from that person specifically, right? Again, this is not just business. This is dating. This is job interviews. This is all of it. But you have to dig, and sometimes you might be, you know, it might be worth it to actually pay someone to incentivize them to actually give you the truth. But the number one rule of all of this is you being capable of receiving feedback without completely crippling your spirit and without you absolutely feeling horrible about yourself. This is why coaching, that very few people are willing to do and take on, right? There's a lot of coaches out there that are struggling financially because, one, either they're mediocre coaches that don't really know what they're doing, or they're simply just, they don't understand uh how to attract people, right? This is like, you have those two aspects. You might be a fantastic coach, but you're unable to actually attract people to understand that you're a fantastic coach. Or you just are a mediocre coach that has a lot of churn and a lot of people leave you, right? If that's the case, well, then it is what it is, and you have to receive feedback in order for you to improve. But there's also a massive thing going on in society, and with men specifically, that they don't want to be told what to do. They don't want to be coached. They don't like, they want to do things their own way, especially with self-employment. And it's like, if they can't get over that aspect, then no one's going to tell them what to do, and everyone's going to give them their opinions, but the everyone in their inner circle are people that are probably not successful. They're probably struggling. They're probably having the same types of problems that they've got. And so getting those people's opinions is just going to steer you in the wrong direction, because it's blind leading the blind. At some point, you need information from the experts, and to spend way more time with the experts than you're spending with people that are at your same level. So this is where, spending less and less time with people that are at your level and more time with people that have already leveled up. And you can do it for free, and it will massively and drastically change your life by watching YouTube, general videos on YouTube, and searching for specialized information once you get to the right place, because it's not enough to just watch general stuff. You need to know what your next step is. So if you don't know what your next step is, that's a problem, and you need to progress until you know what the next step is, and just make a decision about what the next step is, and then search for specialized knowledge on YouTube. Like, type in how to thread a needle, that is 3 centimeters long. Like, I tried to search for something on YouTube yesterday, because I wanted to find a song, and it was Five Goes West. Right, this is a kids movie that I absolutely loved as a kid. But I wanted to hear the Norwegian song because I grew up watching that movie in Norwegian, and it was absolutely amazing in Norwegian. By the way, I don't like watching it in English. So whenever and the crazy part is that I don't like Norwegian. I don't like Norway. I don't like Norwegian in general. Okay, they're great people, and I'm Norwegian. I have a Norwegian passport, and I'm grateful for everything that they've given to me. But I just have left the country and don't have no intention ever to returning to live there. So, but okay, so if we understand that, I love the Norwegian song in that movie, and I was searching for that on YouTube. Guess what? There's no Norwegians that uploaded that movie or uploaded that song onto YouTube. So that is one thing that I just won't have access to. But you know what? If it's in English, whatever your problem is, someone has uploaded a video on it. Okay? There's probably 10 people that have uploaded a video on it, 100 people, maybe 1,000 people, and the best one out of those 1,000 people, the best video, the one that people like the most, is going to be accessible for you. I'm sharing this with you because you're not searching for specialized knowledge in your next step. And that's the way to use YouTube to your benefit. Not just watching general information if you're broke and you can't afford a coach. If you can afford a coach, it is a no-brainer to get an affordable coach to take you to the next step. And don't give up until you have found a coach that is capable of taking you to the next step, who is affordable. There are groups on school.com, SKOOL.com, that are free. I don't have my own free group yet. Technically I do, but I haven't set it up so that it's ready for you guys. I will eventually set it up because I'm excited about school these days. And the platform is becoming more and more amazing by the day. So, but what I want to share with you about it is that there are free communities where there are experts that are active on school that would just love to have you be part of their free community where they will actually talk to you and take you to the next level. If your situation is not the way you want it to be right now, you need someone to enter into your life who is excited about helping you, even if it's just for free for a little bit, in order for you to take things to the next level and for you to actually figure out what specialized knowledge you need, prioritized in order for you to take the next steps in the correct direction for you in your life. So that's what I wanted to share with you. My last thought on it is that this is extreme masculine behavior of being able to take feedback. Like if you're in the military, not today's military, but the military from 50 years ago, 80 years ago, when there was actual war. The military these days, if war actually happens, is like, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Hope, knock on wood, that it doesn't happen, but that's where we're moving towards. The back in the day military would give you massive feedback in order for you to improve fast because it's between life or death situation. They can't have an inept person in the field holding guns, their guns, next to other soldiers that could potentially die as a result of their ineptness and not being capable and lack of utility in the field. And so they're going to be aggressive about the feedback that they give back to you. And it's not a very people skilled environment in the military, right? The higher advanced up you get, the more intense feedback is going to be. And the question is, are you capable of handling that type of pressure? And if you're not, that's okay. But at some point, you want to be able to handle it. And we would love to have situations, organizations where people are willing to take radical honesty and transparency and feedback while not taking personal offense, which means that it's not uh, less people skilled to share the truth. With strangers, you still have to share the truth. With people that don't have the same of obligation and responsibilities, you share the truth. You don't you keep it people skills, like Dale Carnegie, right? But the higher up someone gets responsibilities, the more they have to be willing to take intense feedback that is extremely painful and that might cause them to quit. And it might not be your responsibility to educate them if they're not ready for it. If they don't want feedback, then you just created an unenjoyable circumstance that caused you to lose a friend or a potential friend. But we're talking now about the receiving end, you. We're talking about you taking feedback and you being excited about receiving that horrible negative feedback, and then you selecting what, like, which one of these feedbacks is relevant and should be prioritized in order for me to level up to create more uh, a better situation for my life and those around me. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys